what I'm trying to say is every month I have a theme. I am sorry, because that really didn't help nobody. There's something really beautiful in owning up to the fact that you are inspired by other creators and saying it. Oh my gosh, I'm so annoyed with myself. I was recording and I'm so annoyed with myself. I was talking and the camera was not recording. Anyway, welcome back. Rookie mistake, right? Welcome back, cookies. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Carolyn Gray. I talk about all things in and around fashion. Sometimes I take my camera and I put you in my pocket. And we do vlogs around the city and I share my experience with you. And we like a good old kiki and giggle on this channel because laughter is healing for the soul. And during these times, we need all the healing we can get. Am I right? I know I'm right. So anyway, it's been a long time since I've done one of these videos where we're doing Q&A. I've asked the audience on YouTube as well as Instagram to send me your questions. Let me share myself with you. Let me reintroduce myself because there's been a lot of new followers in the last couple of weeks. Hey, welcome to the family. Welcome to the cookie jar. And I figured, you know what? Prime time to do this, right? So I have a lot of questions from both platforms, and I'm going to get through all of them today, starting with the first one, Alex XOXO33. Will you consider styling services in the future? I know you have a lot on your plate. I do have a lot on my plate. And while I used to offer services more often throughout the week and do in-home services, I no longer do that. I only do virtual service one day a week. So it is difficult to do it, but I do think during the spring and summer, I have a little bit more flexibility to open up the book, but I will leave the link in the description below so you can book a session if you have the availability also on Friday to book, and it'll be a virtual 1-hour session. We could talk about whatever you have questions on. You can show me the things in your wardrobe that you have hesitations with, all the things. Next question from Tavion. Who or what inspires your fashion choices and your style? I think it's a ladder of things. Let me be clear, like my parents are very fly, okay? My father used to take me thrifting with him. So that, in a sense, like that really helps people hone in on their personal style because it's usually one of one. It's really something that you have to be super attracted to for you to buy, right? My mom made me a shopaholic because her whole side of the family, they love to shop. But when it comes to the day-to-day choices that I make, it's really based off of the environment that I'm stepping into. Like if I'm going to be walking around all day and facing people throughout the day, then I will make a decision on this type of comfortable shoes that I'm wearing, or am I going to be sitting down? Am I going to be taking my coat off? I think about the logistics a lot more than my mood for that day, if that makes any sense. And when it comes to my personal style and just how I get dressed, there's certain elements that are really important to me. I have to be comfortable. I have to feel texture within my clothes. I love great knits. I love leathers or faux leathers. Those are from Walmart. I like to have like a difference of texture, but all in all, I have to be able to not necessarily do yoga in my clothes, but I'm a very expressive person, and so is my body is expressive. So I need to have the room and flexibility to do that. And if the clothes do not give me that amount of space or flexibility, then I don't like feeling restricted in my clothes. So people who've also inspired my style, I'm doing a series on Instagram right now where I showcase Black icons that inspired my personal style. I've covered Diane Carroll, Tina Turner. Next up is Grace Jones, Prince, Janet Jackson. There's so many people, and also people who are not like huge musical icons, but just, the ladder of people. I'm just sharing who really inspires my style. And I think that there's something that I could take from each person as far as their concept of personal style, like Tracee Ellis Ross. She's very playful with colors, with structure, with different elements. She is not just one type of style. She is many styles. She's eclectic. So I think taking schools of thought from different people is how I incorporate the inspiration in my personal style. I hope I answered that question. That was a lot, right, from me. Orange Glow 25. Hey, Cookie, I'm looking to grow on IG and YouTube. How do I keep at it and not be discouraged? The low to no view counts make me question pushing forward. I totally get it. Girl, I totally get it. So here's the thing about YouTube. YouTube is a slow and steady growth. You have to show up consistently, same day a week, same time, so your audience can trust you with your schedule, number one. Number two, it also develops a way for YouTube to pick you up and to push you out into the algorithm and explore page, right? So there has to be, I know it's very hard to do it and feel like you're only doing it for yourself, but honestly, when you're first starting out in this space, when it comes to content and sharing yourself with the world, it has to be for you. You can't really focus on how other people receive it and pick it up. You have to create for yourself, because that way it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel as disappointing if you don't get the views that you would think it would get. So when it comes to YouTube, you have to stay consistent. You have to just keep showing up, because even now, what, 3 years in? I'm 3 years into YouTube and people are still watching all the way back when I started. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, put it up, because they will get to it. You know what I mean? And just be really consistent and on top of the back end of your videos as well. Make sure that you're tagging things that are really relevant to your video, as well as things that people are searching for. Make sure your description really shares what's in the video, so you know the SEO can pick up on your video, right? And even outside of YouTube, people are able to search it through Google or whatever, right? And also make sure that you are repurposing the content or sharing that you have the content on all the other platforms. When it comes to Instagram, it is a very finicky space. And I think it also has to do with a consistent flow of posting as well. And really, your tribe will find you. The thing about content creation, it's easier said than done. You just have to do it. You have to be consistent. You have to try different things. You also have to be into your analytics as well, because that way you do a little bit of research on what truly works for your platform, what your audience connects to, what people like more, and let it be a little bit of source of inspo for you, but not the whole thing. And why I'm saying that is sometimes you'll post something, like let's say you'll post something about food and you're not necessarily into being a food content creator, but you notice people really responded to that food post you just made. Now, I wouldn't say, oh, now you got to only be a food content creator. No, but that might tell you, okay, I got to make sure I incorporate food a little bit here and there to keep it going. Don't let it become your total identity, some of the research that you find through your analytics, but let it just help you understand what you can show a little bit less of, what you can show a little bit more of, without taking or changing your entire intention on how you show up online. But I know it's very difficult to handle the low views and, you know, a feel of disconnect, but just keep at it, because it pays off. It pays off. Some months I have very low follower count, new follower count. And some months I'm like, damn, I had 600 new people just yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't know when the blessings of new family members will come, but still continuously show up. Can I tell y'all something real quick? I am using the Rhode lip liner peptide things. Don't buy them. They wipe away. They barely show up. Oh my God, I'm so mad. And I bought 4 of them. Girl, don't buy the Rhode lip tint lip liner things. This is great. Like their lip peptides overall is great, but the lip liner, their barrier face cream and body cream and the milk thing that they have, really great for hydration. But them lip liners is stupid. Anyway, someone Shell Marie B77, dude. Anyone ever tell you that you resemble Felicia Rashad? Yes, I've heard it several times. And I have like this, he wasn't really my boyfriend, but we were both fond of each other, never really went anywhere. But a good friend of mine from Baltimore, he used to say, we were supposed to get married and you were supposed to be my Claire Huxtable. And I love Felicia Rashad as a person. And I also loved her character on The Cosby Show. And yes, I have heard several times that I resemble Felicia Rashad. It is one of my favorite compliments to receive, so thank you. I think she's so it's the grace in her. Like, not, I can see how I resemble her and Debbie Allen, her sister, but it's the grace of Felicia Rashad that it's like, so you say I got that grace too, like, girl. But thank you so much. Nino Mosley says, I love luxury, but I'm hesitant to treat myself. So what should I dip my toe in the water and get? Oh, so here's the thing. I feel like I'm biased and I want to say a really great loafer by like Prada, or, you know what I'm saying? But I think when it comes to treating yourself, don't feel bad about it. First of all, treat yourself. But I do think that if I would have started, my first designer purchase was a pair of designer jeans when I was working at Barney's, New York, on the 8th floor where the denim wall was. The denim doctor, Earl, worked on that floor. So anyway, my first designer purchase were a pair of jeans. And that was because it was something I saw all the time. But if I could go back, I would have preferred to invest in a really good handbag. Loewe makes really great bags. Coach makes really great bags. Bottega makes a really good, I'm talking about leathers and longevity and legacy brands. And also a handbag that if you needed to sell or wanted to sell, which you should never, I feel like you should never sell like your first designer thing, but you can make money back on it. So I would look at it in a sense of treat yourself, yes, and also make it an investment piece where it's something that could pay you back if ever you needed it to. I hope I answered your question. Would you be open to having a mentee or some variation of that? I do have mentees, actually. And yes, I feel that I always learn more from the mentee than the mentee learns from me. So selfishly, I do enjoy having mentees from time to time. But yeah, I am open to it. And that was from Mitch. How I say that? Because I always see your name too. Mitch Mavich. Mitch M. Vich. I hope I'm saying that right. MPLS Latido Toto. Okay, first of all, don't play with me. What is that? Girl, all right. What's your favorite thing about being a content creator? The creative part. The creative part. I like thinking of ideas and making them come to life. And I'm also happy that I've let go of a sense of perfectionism too within that space. So definitely the creative part of it. And also the other part that I really love is when I get to meet you guys, or you guys tell me that there was something that I said or did and it changed something for you. It made an impact. It saved you from something, or it gave you a different perspective. Yeah, that's I love that. It's really, that really warms my heart. So yeah, I love meeting the cookies. Z Fashionista said, "Hey Carolyn, how do you generate content creation ideas? Do you go based on what inspires you?" How I kind of do content now in the last year or so, I feel that it's something that I have to have a lot of structure around. However, I will have a certain theme per month. So for instance, for the month of February is Black History Month, and I wanted to focus on Black style and Black designers, and I wanted to do more Black music, but I'm going to do it next week, but I really did not have enough time for it. So based off of the fact that it's Black History Month, I will go off of that theme and create something that is very much aligned with the type of content that I create. So style icons and inspiration, celebrating personal style through the people that I love and admire, as far as celebrities are concerned in the Black culture. Black celebrities. Why can't I say what I'm trying to say correctly right now? What I'm trying to say is every month I have a theme. And when I think about the theme, it trickles down into all these other ideas where it's aligned with the type of content that I do, which is, harnessing on personal style, having fun with it, comedian relief, vlog style. What I show y'all on New York Fashion Week, like highlighting the love that we have for Black designers, or just storytelling, right? So I go off of a theme every month. There's a different theme every month. I think for January, my theme was more so about reset and structure, or reorganizing myself, and but also flowing through that calmly. This month was Black History Month. Next month will be about wellness. So I have a theme every month, and then it like branches off into other things based off of what I like to share already. I hope I answered that, because I sound like I annoyed myself just now. In case you didn't know, clever. Do you prefer living in New York over Baltimore? Yes, I've been here for almost 20 years. I love going home to Baltimore because it's a home base. It's where love lives for me. It's where my parents live. It's where my best friends live. My day ones live, right? I can sleep really good in Baltimore. But after 2 or 3 days, I am a little tired of it. Like, I feel like every city has a certain demon. And you pick your demons wisely. There's something about Baltimore that I've always felt has a demon of stagnant behavior, a demon of envy, a demon of watching what other people got going on in comparison and comparing yourself. There's a slowness in Baltimore that I am antsy with. I need a little bit more faster pace. Whereas New York has a demon of greed, sex, scam. It has a lot more darker demons, but there's a pace at which New York goes on where I have a better flow state in my positive reality here. There's something about Baltimore that doesn't really feel like I could live there for a long period of time. I was very clear about leaving when I was a young person. I was 16, and I told my parents exactly, I want to apply for schools in New York. I belong in New York. I want to leave Baltimore. And really, I only went back home for 2 summers in a row when I was in college because I couldn't stay on campus. My junior year, I was like, no, I'm staying in New York this summer. Like, I'm not going back home. I'm getting an apartment. And I was very clear on that. I always feel like New York is the place where I belong and stand out, and I can be exactly who I feel like I am and who I've always been. Whereas Baltimore, I feel a little bit of I feel like I feel like a cloud is over me there. And it's not to say that that's the same experience for everyone else that lives in Baltimore. That was my experience there. And I don't know why it was that way, because when I go home, it's a peaceful feel when I'm around my family. But when I'm out and about in Baltimore, I don't really feel connected to it. I see the beauty in it. It's one of the best cities. It has a great mayor, a great governor over Maryland as well. So it's like, I love the positivity of Maryland and Baltimore, but I just don't feel well there. I don't feel well after a certain point. And yeah, I choose New York. And honestly, I would choose other cities too. Like, I would love to experience living in London. I would love to experience living in places like, I don't know, Greenland. I know you didn't think I was going to say that, but like, yeah, I want to live in a place where like people aren't afraid for their life. But yeah, New York over Baltimore. I hope that doesn't hurt anyone's feelings, because I really want to be clear. That is my experience. It's not that I think that is the experience for everyone and everyone needs to get out or the people ain't good there. It's just that my circle, my environment there just didn't give me what I needed. And only my parents' home is where I feel the most safe, comfortable, and free. But outside of that, it wasn't like that for me. I feel really bad because I don't want people to feel like I'm saying something bad about Baltimore. I love Baltimore. I just cannot live there. Ooh, I hope y'all understand. I'm so sorry. I just love you. That is all. Thank you, The Florist Kitchen. Carly Pratam, how was this fashion week compared to the last year's? I feel like last September fashion week was so much fun because we was outside, it was hot, we was doing all the things, and I was tired too. But I think this particular season, I feel like I had a few more shows to attend this season, which I love for me. The big difference for me was I was able to attend Romeo Hunt's show, Sergio Hudson's show, and Diotima. Diotima's been on my bucket list for a show for a really long time. And finally breaking through some of those PR barriers, because they're very finicky about the people that they invite and want in the space. It was really cool. There was one show where I could have done without because I had an experience with the owner in their showroom. And I was just like, I don't really feel like your energy is worth my supporting you and your brand and your event. So I could have done without that one show. But also her husband was really nice and he's part owner of the brand too. So I'm just like, I don't know, your wife is kind of mean, but you're a very nice man. So maybe I'll come back. I don't know. But it was a lot more intentional with the viewing or the ability to view the shows in person. And I love that for me. It just felt good in that aspect. I did have a different intent to be more behind the scenes this season, and that didn't go the way that I wanted to versus last September. I didn't know that's what I wanted, and I was introduced to doing more behind the scenes, and I loved it. So there was some highs and lows for sure. I think more highs than lows because of just the exposure and the experiences that I got to get. And yeah, but I think it was a good fashion week this month. And I'm really looking forward to the one in September. Cheyenne, how is Carlos's mom and how are you guys tackling this together? Carlos's mom is doing so much better. To be near death in December and to be visiting her new spaces, like the assisted living facilities, like she'll have her own apartment kind of thing, but they'll be there to help her throughout the day and whatnot. And feeling comfortable within those spaces, it's amazing. It's a miracle to see. How Carlos and I are tackling it, what I will say is, this experience really was traumatic for our relationship, and we are very focused on being there for each other, partnering through the healing and the trauma that we experienced, just like dealing with her living with us and that being sprung up on us in a way, dealing with the relationships within his family dynamic, dealing with the surgery that she had and then falling ill the way that she did and just seeing her be a vegetable at one point. That's a lot of stuff. And then it's our first time experiencing it together, right? So we don't know all the tools that we have to support this situation, and we're throwing things at it. We're throwing different tools at the problem, and some of it worked, some of it didn't. So we are really focused on rebuilding from here with what we know now, and rebuilding our individuality too, because I think that especially him, like he wasn't working for like 3 months. His company was running on its own, but he wasn't working, and he needs to get back into the swing of it. And I also stepped away from a certain amount of content creation and work because I was in a very dark space about it too. So we're working on getting ourselves back in order and making and our partnership reflecting that and unifying differently now. So we've been through some things. I'm not gonna lie, it's very difficult. If I could have done something differently, I think I would have kept the apartment in Brooklyn and had this apartment also, and have some type of separation or a different place for him to go to if he needed a break, or for me to go to if we need a break. Like having 2 separate spaces, I think would have done well for our situation. And that's the one thing I'm like, I wish I would have kept a small space or a studio or something in our old building, or maybe get something, even though that's a lot of money. I think it would have helped our sanity as far as our careers and individuality within the scenario. You get what I hope I answered your question. But we're tackling it. We have no other choice. Ola is me. said, how do you keep up with your silk press? I really feel like my hair maintains itself because it has heat damage. And I do think that my hair listens to my hairstylist's hands. She has growing hands. I really don't know what to tell you because I don't sleep with a bonnet. I don't sleep with a silk pillow as much as I used to. I need to put that thing back on. But I literally just be letting it do what it wants to do. And most of the time it's nice to me. But I think someone else asked this too. I use Sacred products. I use Amika products. I use Dyson hair blow dryer. I use T3 straightening, flat ironing. And so does my hairstylist. She told me to get it. That's the same thing she uses. And I also do use heat protection products from Pattern Beauty or TGIM. And I don't oil my scalp. That's another thing. I don't know if that's bad or not, but technically I don't oil my scalp. I'll put oil on the ends of my hair so it doesn't get brittle and split. Like twice a week maybe. But I am very low maintenance with my hair. It might just be my curl pattern. It might be heat damage. It might be a ladder of things, but I really don't do a lot to maintain it. I am sorry because that really didn't help nobody. April Cherie says, should a friend get upset with you if you don't vibe with one of their friends / remove their IG? I mean, I'm sure a friend is going to feel sad that her friends don't get along. I think everyone's intention is for everyone to get along, unless like you're a weirdo and you want your friends to like fight over you, which is so strange to me. But there are people like that in the world. I don't think you should be upset if they're sad about it or feel bad about it. Let them mourn it, but also explain that you have your boundaries and that sometimes you don't want to see certain things. Maybe this person triggers you for whatever reason. I think you need to be really vocal about why you feel a certain way and why you need to do certain things to create a boundary or to feel like you need a wall. If you've already tried that relationship and it just doesn't sit well with you, and hopefully you're able to express it in a way that's non-confrontational, that doesn't trigger your friend, that makes them feel wholly how you feel, and they will respect your boundaries and understand it. Yeah, but I can understand why somebody would be upset. Like, I think they wouldn't want you to not be friends with their friends. They want everyone to be around each other, but like, sometimes it just doesn't always work that way. Now, it is on you, though, to make sure that when you are around this person for their birthday, for your shared friend birthday or different events and stuff, that you are able to really be cordial and to not be petty and to not make it be a big deal. So like, sure, create the boundary, but like for your friends' comfort and just her positive energy flow, don't make it a thing when you're around the person that you don't like from their friend group. Don't make it a thing. Actually be nice. It's only a few hours that you're dealing with this person. Maybe if it's a trip, just a couple of days out of the year. But don't make it weird. Don't make it uncomfortable. Just hold your ground, be kind, and you have your boundary. That's fine. But I can understand. Why you would even ask this question. I get it. Where do you get your hair done? LORRAINE GUITY at XO Beauty Lab in Brooklyn does my hair. Yes, she does. Get to know her. I love LORRAINE so much. Yvonne09, do you think making New York Fashion Week 1 week a year would be beneficial? No, I don't. I think what would be beneficial is that the shows are in a more centralized area in New York like they used to, like Bryant Park or Lincoln Center or Milk Studios. So we're not running from place to place all day long, spending all this money with Uber, going from Brooklyn to the Hamptons, back to the city, to the Bronx. Girl, it's a lot. I don't think it's a good idea because it also minimizes the opportunity for small, new, emerging designers to showcase their work. It's not enough time. 1 week is not enough time. And while I do think that having so many seasons for designers to show up for, it's not just fall, it's not just spring, it's summer, it's pre-fall, it's resort. There's so many different things that they have to design collections for. While I don't love that for designers, and I wish that it was just 2 seasons that they're actually designing for, I do think that having 1 week a year for their collections does not make sense. However, if, especially, it doesn't make sense to just have it in New York one time a year. Like, not everybody can afford to go all over the world to showcase their stuff. So they need more opportunity than just 1 week in a year. Hair Crush in Myself. Fairly new to your content. Style Unlocked sent me hello, but I love it. What was life like before YouTube? So before I got into content creation, why do I feel like there's something all over my face? Before I got into content creation, I'm still running a brand called Noir, but it's a CBD brand. And especially during lockdown 2020, that's when everybody was so happy about supporting Black-owned businesses, but also my business did support a sense of calm for people, especially during such a high, intense, unprecedented time. So life for me was, I was sharing a little bit online. That was when Reels started to come into play on Instagram. So I did tap into it a little bit, but I was more so focused on the marketing and development for my brand, Noir Bud. And every day was making product by hand, putting the orders together. I would have 40 orders per day, and I would be going to and from the post office, especially at nighttime, because after the protests and a lot of rigmarole that was happening during that time when we were locked down, I would go into the city around 8 o'clock at night, go to the post office and deliver everything for shipment. But my life was Noir Bud only. And it was also my first time experiencing living with a man. I was just moved in with Carlos. So it was more private, obviously more quiet. And I was in full support of other creators that I thought were really cool as well. And I was also part of like waking up at 5 a.m. every day too and working out. So I was doing a lot more for my wellness and my mental wellness during that time, to be honest. Isn't that funny? It's not funny. I was more in tune with mental wellness and health during the time before I was doing content like this. Since then, I've thrown all of that out the window. No, I'm just joking. I'm getting back to it, and it looks different because my lifestyle and workflow is different. But yeah, that's what it looked like. Sebastian. Oh no, I have 1%. Hold on, let me get my little battery pack. Hold on, Cookie. And we're back. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so the next question was, can you share some challenges you faced when starting your channel and how you triumphed? I think the only challenge was getting over low follower count, low view count, and realizing that I just had to put one foot in front of the other and just keep going despite what was going on. Another thing that I feel like I dealt with was certain comments that were really getting under my skin and developing a tough skin over time. I feel like when you first start off on YouTube or any type of content platform, and you start getting some like weird comments, some haterish kind of comments, or comments that make you feel like you're not doing good with the stuff that you're sharing, over time, it starts to be something you're able to just like shift off. Now, there's going to be some comments where I'm just like, don't talk about my mama. Like, and then you have to address it, right? And that I understand, because honestly, you do need to let people know, like, I'm a human at the end of the day. A human is running this. I am doing this on my own. I don't have a whole team helping me with this. And I'm not always able to filter someone behind their phone or screen saying something that doesn't sit well with me, right? So sometimes I still do address it, but it doesn't hurt me for more than like 5 minutes. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, like, I address it in that moment and I walk away and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I say what I said. So there is that, right? So building the tough skin and not feeling or taking it personal that the low viewership or follower count, it wasn't personal. Like, I just had to keep showing up for myself on here. I had to really make it feel like in my mind, I'm doing this so I can look at it, so I can look back in time, so my legacy, people can see me and say, like, my grandma did this. You know what I'm saying? So those are the types of things that I faced in the beginning that felt like, am I ever going to get over it? And yeah, totally did, am doing. And it's something that happens with time. and consistency and just doing it and trying it and saying, oh, I want to try this type of content. Let me see if it works. Like, let me see how I like it. I think people really need to understand that content creation is a selfish thing. You do it to please yourself. You cannot look for validation from the outside, especially from the beginning, because it's not going to happen overnight. And even if someone does go viral at first, it's very hard to upkeep that virality. It's hard to keep that shit up. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is you got to build a muscle first, and then you can fight the fight. What's the word? I don't know. Steflo said, no question, just want you to know how much I value and appreciate you. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate and value y'all too. Marianne Sunshine, are you still using Sacred for your hair? Yes, I am. I love the moisturizing shampoo, the also the one that gets into your scalp and cleans up your scalp, that one. The deep conditioner, yes. Even the sealing lotion, I love, but what I do know, I only use the sealing lotion, like the leave-in conditioner, when I'm leaving my hair wet and slicking it back. I don't use it for a blowout. I use K18 when I'm doing a blowout because it doesn't feel as heavy and thick when I do use the sealing lotion from Sacred. And I use the oil too. I just don't use that rice water stuff. I didn't really see that. I didn't really feel like it made a big difference for me. There was something else that they have that I don't use either. I think it's like some kind of hair treatment. Yeah, I don't use that one. But overall, I still use it. Better Believe Eve. When are you going? Oh, the pinstripe suits that I was selling on gray layers, if there's going to be more available, no. There's only one more unit left. I don't know what size. I think it's medium. But after that's sold, it's sold out. I'm going to be bringing new product into the website in a couple of weeks. Juliet B. That B. All right. How would you shake a narcissist in your big age? I would shake a narcissist off by just letting them know, I know what you are. You're not going to gaslight me. And staying calm, even if they get crazy. We are surrounded by a lot of people who are narcissists or so removed from the reality of themselves and lack accountability. But if I was in a situation where I was dealing with a narcissist, I would let them know exactly who I think they are in that moment and not holding back. I wouldn't use curse words or anything like that to solidify my contribution. But I would just let them know, I know exactly who you are. Even yesterday, I had a conversation with someone and they tried to make me feel like I was crazy. I said, let me read the text to you because you said this now. Am I crazy? And I think that that's something that you be brave about doing that. Like show the person exactly who they are in the moment and have other people around at the same time as like a witness and a mediator too, right? This is what you said, right? I'm not crazy. You saw it. Okay, don't try to play with me. We're going to move forward this way. Leave me alone. That type of thing. But it's hard. But I think narcissism, you have to let them know who you think they are right in that moment and tell them not to play in your face and make the boundary. I don't deal with it. I leave them alone. Because we got enough shit going on. Excuse my language. And I'm sorry for my ladies who don't like it when I curse too much. Sometimes it just happens. It flows. I apologize in advance. But sometimes I have a potty mouth. I do, auntie. I do. I'm sorry. But I can't promise you that I won't cuss sometimes. All right, moving to the next question. IT girl. Can we talk about access to fashion? Like over here in Canada, we don't get all the trends and sizes. I mean, it depends on the country, I guess. I did not know that about Canada because a lot of things do come out of Canada to the U.S., so I would assume that it was like that. But I do think it definitely depends on the country. I feel like Europe has a lot more access to certain refined quality things and the ability to make things at a lower cost, like leathers in Italy and stuff like that, and transporting it to China and assembling it or assembling it in Brazil, that type of thing. But I don't really know how to answer this question. I do think that America has a lot of access. I do think Europe has a lot of access, but I also think that a lot of people don't know that some of these access points are transferred to other countries for low cost to produce. But again, I don't know how to answer this question. I'm sorry. Okay, so those are the questions from Instagram. Now let's get to the questions on YouTube's. My battery dead. You know what? The batteries with the gadgets and gizmos is not on my side today. I did not prepare well. My gosh, I finally got into the YouTube question part because my goodness, this thing was taking forever. Okay, let's go. Honeybee Dream. What was your dream job as a kid, and what would you be doing if you weren't in the fashion art space? What 3 films would you bring if stuck on an island? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? So I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a little kid. I loved debating at recess. And if I wasn't in fashion or art space, which I feel like is so strange to think of, right? I think I would have done celebrity like contracts. I would have been a lawyer. I would have gone to become a lawyer that handles contracts for celebs, all the things, sports players. That's probably what I would have leaned into, because if art was a really big deal in school for me as a young person, which it was, so was sports. So I've always been interested in how some of my friends got scholarships and was playing for the NBA or playing overseas at really young ages when Nike was sponsoring them. Like, I was really interested in that stuff. So if it wasn't for art, it would have been something in contract law, sport, agent, that type of thing. What 3 films would I bring if stuck on the island? I would bring, oh my God, that's so hard. Okay. Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever. Forrest Gump. Don't judge me. And, oh, that's so hard. Boomerang. But I would love to bring Malcolm X, The Color Purple, West Side Story, and Goodfellas. Ooh, Scarface. I also would like to bring The Devil's Advocate. Ooh, First Wives Club. I would like the girls bring Harlem Nights. That is so wrong for you to ask me for 3. And that is my favorite number, but in this case, I don't like it. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I would love to be a mom of 1, hopefully. I don't feel like I need to be married to Carlos, but it would be nice. But I would like to be a mother of 1 with him. And I want to have an apartment in the city that I own, and working through the empire that I'm building right now with different brands that I run, still doing content creation, still doing speaking engagements, still doing some form of marketing, social media content, and working with the youth. I would also like to be a professor at FIT, teaching Business 101, especially when it comes to business etiquette, professionalism, how to assert yourself in the business space, and how to maintain and uplift your voice in the fashion world industry, because that was something I felt like I didn't have when I was young and in corporate. Amy M6480. Okay, I will answer all your questions. Do you offer one-on-one coaching for newbies looking into getting into social media creative space? Yes, that's what I can also do with the link that I have available for Fridays. You could definitely book a session there. Number 2, for a newbie to IG fashion creation space, what should be one's first 3 to 5 impactful posts for engagement? I think it's hard because it's very individual and unique to the creator. Like, it depends on what you want to share. I think you have to figure out what perspective of the fashion space are you trying to share What do you feel passionate about? What do you feel like people need to know? And that should be where you create. I don't think the point of creating content, especially first starting out, should be focusing on the engagement. Yes, you want traction. Yes, you want engagement. But I think developing who you are and what you offer should be the point of focus in the content and themes and series that you create. Where do you see yourself in the next few years? Example, owning your own agency, your own family. Yes, I want my own family. Yes, I want to have some type of production business where I'm able to help people in the content creation space. I want to have a content space that people can rent. I also want to offer services in helping people build within the space as creators, as individuals within the space, not having an agency. I don't think I would necessarily have an agency, but I would definitely have a source, like an HR kind of source for content creators, because we don't have it. It's the wild, wild west. I do want to be a mom. I do want to still be living in New York. I also want to be traveling more. I also want to have a home somewhere else outside of New York, whether that be Baltimore. And that would just be an investment property. I would not be living there. But more so like London or California, I would like to have a property. Or even like, I don't know, Las Vegas. I don't know. I don't know about the second home part, but I'll get to it. I'll get some clarity. How do you partner, collab with other friends in the same space without competing or sort of copying? Example, wearing same clothes pieces the same exact way and the next influencer style, friend styled, and copying your own style that you should. Hold on. Example, wearing the same clothing piece or pieces the same exact way and next influencer friend styled and copying your own style that you shown it the first. Then you see them own it as if they styled it that first. Wait, I think I understand what you're saying. Girl, that was a lot. Did you read that before you said that? I think when it comes to collabing and like hanging out with my creator friends, it has to be natural. Like, I don't think we've felt this like sense of copying amongst the people I'm like hanging out with. Now, let me tell you what does kind of irk me is that when people who have a bigger following than me are unable to say that they saw me with something, they bought it. It's like, it's okay to say that you saw Carolyn with it and it piqued your interest and you thought it was cool too and that you liked how she styled. Like this, there should be nothing wrong with saying where you saw something, number one. Number two, I think even like a year or so ago, I remember either Cassie Thorpe or Karen Britchick created some kind of series or a type of video, and we all said, I got this concept from them. I thought it was so cool. I want to do it. I think that there's something really beautiful in owning up to the fact that you are inspired by other creators and saying it and citing your source, like bibliography, you know, like we've all done bibliographies. I know we all know how to cite a source. But I think when it comes to, I don't feel like people copy and paste my style to the T, and so therefore I'm not bothered by that. But what bothers me is when you know you saw something that you from another creator smaller than you possibly, and you're not saying that you got the inspo from them. I also feel like I've had different concepts of series on social media, like Where You Going, Let Me Style You. I did that series, and I've saw people literally take the same concept and not even say that they were inspired by me, but they definitely were. Or, you know, calling their series something very similar to something that I do. Like, it's okay. You could just say it. Like, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't do that to somebody, especially if I'm at a certain level and someone's starting off. I would say, like the cookies on Instagram, we have Worn Three Ways Wednesday. They came up with that. I am a part of it. I do my due diligence. I'm part of that crew, but they came up with the concept out of left field. They came together that way. I didn't tell nobody to do it, and I would never say that I told them that they should do it. Now, throughout the process, I've said, okay, I think you should do this with your content, or let's dial it back here, or I think we should make this a little bit more personal to all of our styles. Like I would suggest things as we're growing and going along, but I would never take credit for starting this series that they came up with. I think it's amazing. I love it for me. But I think what irks me is that part. It's just not saying where they sourced it when it comes to ideas and stuff. Not necessarily personal stuff. I think a lot of it, like me and Chi like a lot of the same things, right? Like we have this sweater. I think she bought it and I bought it second, right? We wore the same Prada shoes to Diotima's show. We had no idea. We wore it totally different. But it's like, it's not the same. Like we can have the same stuff and we don't wear it the same. So it's like, but I'm mad I didn't take a picture with her that day. We could have took a picture with our feet together. Because literally same style, same color. It was wild to me. But we just think the same. And that, to me, that doesn't bother me. It's just, we're very alike. And that it's just natural. There's nothing out of malice about it. It's just natural. I have a twin. We are twins. Like, it's fine. The other stuff bothers me on the low, though. Like, when I see bigger creators taking from small creators and not saying something, I'm just like, that's so weird to me. That's so weird to me. Do you have a team editor, assistant, or someone helping you come up with fashion savvy ideas for your shorts? Post an example. How do you come up with it? Where do you draw inspiration from? So like I said before, I have different themes per month and the types of videos that I like to do. And I also have leveraged AI. I remember I used AI when I was thinking about Black History Month, and I said, I want to do something that celebrates my favorite celebrities in Black culture and how they've inspired my style. Like, I need some kind of reel. And I asked it very specific questions and prompts, and I tell it, and at this point it kind of knows like the type of content that I do already, and it spins off of what I've done and helps me create a different concept from there that is aligned with the theme that I have. So I leverage AI. I don't have a team. I am very specific about the way I use AI. Even if I'm writing something for a newsletter, I'll ask it to read what I wrote as an editor and give me feedback on how to make it better. I don't ask it to write my newsletters. I ask it to be my editor. So that's how I come up with different things. And also, like, I watch a lot of movies. I have a lot of coffee table books that are based off of fashion. I read a lot of magazines. I have a lot of magazines. I look at people outside. Like, I really allow myself to come out of a digital space and to be inspired by the world around me. So I always have to be tapped in. You are definitely a huge inspiration for me and help me stay encouraged. Keep being authentic, your authentic self, and relevant information you share. Thank you so much, Amy M6480. I loved your questions. Sylvia's World 8838. I'm really excited for this video. I have 2 questions for you. What inspired you to get into fashion? Do you have any advice for someone starting out on YouTube at an older age within the 40s range? What inspired me to get into fashion? Honestly, like, my dad, he's a photographer. So he had a studio off of Charles Street or Calvert Street in Baltimore. It was a warehousey space, and he would have models and all his friends, makeup artists, stylists would come together. I was around a lot of fashion at a really young age, and my father was a very thrifty person too. So that in itself was just a big source of personal style. And I think when I was in high school, I was an art focused kid. So my school that I went to for high school was Towson Catholic. It was like a college preparatory school. So I was more focused in like English and arts. And my art teacher noticed that I had a knack for painting fashionable items like bags and shoes. And I was very good with colors and just the form of it all, the production of it all. And she asked me if I was interested in fashion school. And I had never really thought about it that way. I didn't know that there was a school for fashion. She told me about FIT. So between my father's work and my art teacher in high school, that is how I came into understanding that there was something in fashion for me. When I have the advice that I have for YouTube at any age, honestly, is just starting and understanding that you are creating content for yourself. You are your own demographic. Don't veer off from that. Don't try to get anything else outside of that. They will come, but create the content that you would want to see and be consistent. Create a schedule. If there's something that you want to, you will never be happy with the perfectionism of it all. Like, it will never be perfect. You will always build. You will always add things. You will always try new things, see what sticks to the wall. It's all spaghetti, okay? It's all cooking spaghetti. You just got to see. You got to let it cook. You got to give it time, right? But showing up for what you would want to see in the creative space and doing it consistently, just keep going. And from every so often, like, you want to take a little beat, review it, look at your analytics, see what works, see what doesn't work, see what kind of irks you about yourself, because it's going to happen. I don't like how I sound. I just don't. But I know that I need to say like and a lot less, right? So those are the types of things that you want to look back at your work for, or the types of topics that you cover in the way that you cover it. So just be very mindful about how you present, and just be consistent about it, and always work towards building and editing and doing it better and better, but it will never be perfect. So don't ever aim for perfection. It will never happen, especially as a creative. Nothing is ever perfect for us. This painting is done. And then in the back of my mind, I'm always like, but I want to finish it. It is finished, girl. It's finished. Everyone loves it. Daddy likes it. Daddy loves it the most. It's finished. You get what I'm saying? I want to put like 1 or 2 more little balls over. Anyway, little jelly beans is what I call them. But moving right along to Life Loves Lex. I know that's right. What are some confidence tips you would give to someone turning 28? Oh my God, 27 was my favorite year. So like 28, oh my God, I love it. What do you love most about life currently, and why? What do you currently dislike the most in your life, and why? Sending confidence tips to someone turning 28. Do not look at the world for validation. Do not look at the outside world for any validation. Spend a lot of time with yourself. Take yourself on solo dates. Talk nicely to yourself. And don't be afraid to try something new. And if you have a gut feeling about something, whether it's good or bad, do not try to prove yourself otherwise. Go with it. What do you love most about life currently, and why? I think right now what I love most about life is the fact that I know that I have a voice, that I am a truth speaker, that no one can gaslight me. I will not let anyone gaslight me. And I think that after experiencing the things that I've been through up until this point, didn't have a voice in a lot of settings of my life, especially during my 20s. You know, I had a fashion corporate job that really threw me through a loop, and I always regret not speaking up more for myself. And I think what I love most about life right now is my ability to speak up for myself in the way that I do, in a way that is productive, that it's not counteracted, that even when people do me wrong, they always will leave the conversation saying, damn, like that was a difficult conversation you just had with me, and I feel more inclined to do better now. You know, I have the ability to speak life into situations that are not good. And I love that about life right now. What I don't like about life right now is I feel like I am rebuilding myself from last year and the things that me and Carlos went through. I don't love the fact that I am going to be turning 37 and I'm not a mom yet. I don't love the fact that I don't own a property just yet. I don't love the fact that I'm in business relationships that feel like a little bit like a prison because I didn't spend the money on a lawyer to protect me. So there are some things that I'm a little regretful about, and I don't love that right now. And I'm working towards changing that feeling towards the situation and becoming more empowered by it. Okay, those were the questions. I just want to make sure. Natalie, 4595, looking forward to the Q&A. What are some faux fur recommendations? You know what, Natalie, I actually want to do a little bit more research when it comes to that, because I'm finding more and more, there are some reports coming back that faux fur or the properties in faux fur are not good for our health. So I would like to get back to you, but some of my faux fur favorites that I own are from Scoop Walmart, Urban Revival, and the Frankie Shop. But now I'm a little scared of them at the same time because of the things that are coming out about faux fur. I love the red and black striped shoes you wore during Fashion Week. Those are from Bottega, from the outlets. What are some brand recommendations for fun, unique shoes? Oh my God, Camper. There's a store in Soho. I cannot think of the name of it right now, but I'll pop it up on the screen once I do this video. That brand, really unique shoes. And off the top of my head, those are the only two that are coming to mind right now. And Jeffrey Campbell has some really kitschy, quirky, cool looking shoes that I think people should really lean into more. You know what other shoe company I was looking at yesterday that I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this brand? Jessica Simpson shoes. And actually really good quality. I love Jessica Simpson shoes. When they first came out, get into it. But let me see if I could find the other recommendations. Andrea Patrick Official. First, I love your perspective you take with your videos. Thank you so much. My question is, what is your video production workflow? I would love to see more of your behind the scenes of creating those informative videos. Thank you in advance. So with the theme that I have with each month, it also trickles over to YouTube. And so I have 2 videos a week. One is a vlog, which is very easy for me to compile together and put all the footage together and make it flow. And the other one is informative sit down straight to camera or styling type of video. So with the themes that I have at the top of every month, I create a video within that theme for each week on every Friday, right? So what I do is every Monday I compile the video for the vlog that comes out on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday or Thursday I sit down and I create the actual video. Usually. But sometimes I make the video the day that it's going to come out, like today. It's Friday. This video going to come out later tonight. But it's usually, I'm always taking footage for the vlog and I compile it the night before it's due. And then when it comes to the actual sit down video, I make it on a Wednesday or a Thursday, compile all the images or things that I need to resource for it. And then I put it out on Friday. And each of those like sit downs, plannings, editing, it takes 2 to 3 hours for each of those components. So it just flows a certain way. I could definitely show y'all more behind the scenes on a vlog for that, for sure. Who run it? If someone is looking to update their wardrobe with more quality basics and willing to spend extra coin without breaking the bank too crazy, what are some brands or stores you recommend to get started with? Any hidden gems that you think should be getting more love? I mean, I do think that like brands like COS, Uniqlo, and other stories are really good for basics and redeveloping a new wardrobe with really high quality pieces that you can wear and interchange with time and time again. I also think brands like Line by K have really good quality basics. And she's a little bit on the higher end of the spending. Like she's not luxury pricing. She's not like H&M pricing. She's like in between towards H&M pricing, right? And also thrifting. I think thrifting is really good when starting a new wardrobe over as well, because there's a lot more personal style preference that goes into that, and the quality is there too. Jeffrin Douglas, I have to go in a couple of minutes, but I'll finish. What's your most expensive fashion item in your closet? It could be clothes, shoes, and accessories. Secondly, you always look well put together. Do you find it difficult sometimes in putting outfits together, or do you ever call any of your sister content creators to get advice on pairing your pieces? The most expensive item in my closet. I think the Bottega large hop bag is the most expensive item in my closet. Because, yeah, even the Chanel bag that I bought in 2019, it wasn't as much as that Bottega. And when it comes to, thank you for saying that I look well put together, because sometimes I think I look like trash. But I think when it comes to my wardrobe, like I'm always pretty keen on buying pieces that I know will mix and match with other things in my wardrobe, so I can kind of like blindly pick something and be like, I know it's going to work well with this pant because the pant looks good with these types of tops. So it's like I know that my wardrobe services me in that way. And honestly, I feel like my fellow content creators, sister friends, we don't really, it's not that we need advice on what we're wearing. We just ask like, what you wearing? Because if you're wearing heels and I'll wear heels type of thing, that's what we talk about. We don't really talk about needing help in pairing things. We talk about what you wearing because I don't feel like getting dressed right now, and I just need to know if you're going to be dressed up just now, or are we doing casual, are we doing sweatpants, like what are we doing, so we can feel cohesive with each other. I think that's more so what we talk about. But and then one last question before I hop off to do my call, and then I'm gonna come back. Which do you like better, thrifting or buying new pieces? Why? Selfishly, I prefer thrifting over new pieces because they're unique. They're one of one. It feels more like a win when you find something really good when you're thrifting. The only caveat is when I'm thrifting and y'all love it, I cannot necessarily link it. And as a creator, and like people, like management will look at me and be like, Carolyn, like, I'm sure people would love for me to shop more often buying new pieces and stuff like that. That's the only thing that I know comes with the struggle of liking thrifting more, because I'm not able to link it. Not everybody can have it. But it's something that happens when I find it. I'm like, oh my God, this is for me. Like it found me. It feels like a relationship thing or just like a gem, but I enjoy thrifting because it's a hunt. It's a personal style thing. It's the joy of finding it that I really love more than buying a new piece. I find that I get over a new piece quicker than I do a thrifting piece. But I'll be right back. I have to do a call and then I'll finish the rest of the questions. BRB. Okay, so I'm back from my business call. It was great. Let's get through these questions fast round. Okay, what is some advice you have for someone who is interested in content creation but having a hard time understanding and navigating the space? Definitely sign up to master classes regarding the space. Research, Google. If you really want to enter a space that you don't know much about, Google is going to be your best friend. Using AI is also going to be your best friend. And looking at the trends of things, not too late to compare yourself to anyone or anything, but just to understand what the possibilities are and how you can spin off of some of them. But I think making sure that you are reading the room, seeing what's going on out there, reach out to content creators that are starting out too, or that been in the game for a while, and see if you can take them for coffee and link up and discuss different things. I think every city and state has some type of group that you can connect with in real life. Because I know a lot of us are like in New York, LA, Miami, and things like that, but there's content creators all over this country. So find people who are in your area if you're not in New York, and try to take them out for coffee and talk about the industry and pick their brain. But also you have to have a lot of self-starting mentality to research a lot of the things that you have questions about. Lane Ruckers, how to get the masculine oversized look in winter coats and jackets? You got to go up in size with the coat. So if you're going to be doing oversized, like this sweater, I can't wear with all my coats. I can only wear with coats that have enough arm space and are a size up or two from my actual size. That's how we make sure that we get fitted into all of our layers. Okay. Amen. Amen. Johannes Waters, 5607. I'm interested to know about the recent art you painted. Where did you obtain those skills and what inspired the paintings? So I'm an artist first. I've always been a painter. I draw since I was a little kid. Literally since I was a little kid. I focused on art when I was in high school, my college preparatory high school, Towson Catholic. And there's been times when my work has been in museums in Baltimore. I've been in different competitions for my artwork. I've always been an artist. I have a lot of family members on both sides of my family who are artists. And when it comes to the paintings here, I really didn't have like actual inspiration, like visually what it would look like, but I had color inspo for this particular piece. I knew I wanted to have something butter yellow in my house. And then when it comes to the piece in the bedroom that I recently done, it was inspired off of African modern, beautiful hairstyles that I saw. And once that's finished, I will show you. But yes, I actually do need to finish that other piece, but that's where the inspo came from. ATLC experience. Hey, Cookie, would really like to know if your key was in cheese car, if you ever found it. I was really concerned for you. Additionally, on topic, I really am curious as it pertains to the fashion world, what is considered mid-size, curvy size, plus size, because everything seems to be small sample size. Yes. Keys have not been recovered, but I have a feeling they will be. It just doesn't make sense. Ain't no way they just vanish like that. First of all. Secondly, when it comes to mid-size, what is it? What is it that you need to know? Because I do think that it is very limited in options when it comes to mid-size to plus size. I think that some creators are considered mid-size creators, but they consider themselves plus size. And yes, it is very unfortunate that most of these things are sample size. And that's one of the reasons why I actually told the PR agency that I worked with for Fashion Week that I do not want to be dressed by some of the brands, because I don't want to go through the disappointment of going into a fitting and then struggling to find something that works for me in my unique personal style and taste, but also fit wise. It is very discouraging to know that this is the lay of the land at times. But ask me a little bit more specific question when it comes to that concept. Carol Peace 9442. I have a vintage epi leather LV Speedy in black like yours from Vestiaire. Having issues trying to polish the hardware. Who do you feel is a better site for pre-love? I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. I have never bought anything from Vestiaire. I know of them. I have some things saved, but I haven't bought anything from there. The people I do know that have bought from there like their pieces, but I personally really trust Fashion File, and what goes around comes around. I do not buy purses from the Real, just shoes and clothes, but everything else, Fashion File, and what goes around comes around. They are, when it comes to verifying their pieces, they don't play games. Pop Poster Boy. You've mentioned before you don't drink. May I ask what led you to not engage with alcohol? How do you stand on business with your choice in an industry that's built on parties and entertainment? There's a couple of reasons why I don't drink. Number one, there's a couple of different things that just don't sit well with my stomach. I remember one time I had tequila and I almost shat myself. Okay. It's not a good time for me. Number two, there is alcoholism runs in my family. I do think that I have an addictive personality, especially on my mother's side. Alcoholism runs on that side of the family, men and women. And I think that there's been times where I have gotten drunk and I woke up the next day like nothing was wrong. And I was like, that is way too easy for me. I'm not interested in what life looks like with having the ability to drink in that way. I've also had a very bad experience with alcohol when it comes to, there was a guy that I had met, and I'm very comfortable with sharing this story. There was a man that I met when I was in college. I was partying, obviously, we was always partying, but this guy was apparently one of the people that worked at Bad Boy. I was at Greenhouse. I ran into this man. I forget his last name. His name was Nicky. Nicky, fuck you. And I'm not saying sorry for cursing, but Nikki had asked me out on a date. I was young, whatever. Oh, he's with the Bad Boy crew. Okay, cool, let's have fun. Met him in Long Island for the date and took me to somewhere in Ronkonkoma. Child, I could have been dead from this situation. But anyway, I was so naive and just happy to be living in New York. But met him for the date and he had me down like several watermelon martinis or something like that. I do think he spiked it. And then afterwards, he took me to his home and he had his way with me. And I remember everything was pretty groggy. And I remember one thing in particular. He took down his pants and I looked at what he was working with. And I remember saying out loud in this state of being inebriated or drugged or both. And I said, that's all you got to work with? I see why you did this. I remember that, and because it was small, and he took advantage, and he's an evil man, and yeah, and I woke up the next day. I was pretty aware and alert of my surroundings. I got the hell up out of there, went to work, and I was not hungover. There was nothing wrong with me the next day, but I knew that what took place was very wrong. And he tried to reach out to me and set up another date. And I remember cursing him down through and out. And at that time, we thought nothing was going on at Bad Boy. That was crazy, right? So I said, if you try to touch me or talk to me again, if you see me in the club, anything, I'm going to tell everybody about what you did. And it's not that the experience is traumatic to me now, because I'm able to speak about it. And I was able to tell my, what do they call them? I was able to say to him exactly who I thought he was and how to stay the hell away from me. I felt very empowered in that. So it never really carried with me like a traumatic thing or a heavy thing. I just knew how to protect myself going forward, and it was not my fault. And I'm lucky for that experience as far as how I responded to it. But those are the many reasons why I do not drink liquor. And when it comes to being out and about in the industry, it's very easy for me. People used to be like, oh my God, you don't drink? And I'm just like, yeah, what's wrong? Like, it's okay. Yeah, people don't bother me about it at all. People do ask me why. I usually just say it just doesn't sit well with me. The short answer is that. And it doesn't. But like some of them don't sit well with my stomach. I think it's like tequila or something. But the other stuff doesn't have an effect on me, and that's scary. And I don't feel like explaining that most of the time. But we're here. That is why. Those are the reasons why. How do you create or find people in the fashion industry? Okay. And also, how do you find these networking places? I know I feel like the networking thing comes up when you start putting yourself out there as someone in the space that wants to be a part of the industry in some capacity, whether it's you're creating, you're a photographer, you're a manager, all those things. I think that's where it comes up. But we're going to move seats because, here's the thing. I'm tired of my batteries not living that long with me. And it's very annoying. Okay. And yes, I was sitting in my hallway because I like how it looks. Okay. But I needs to finish this video with y'all. All right. We connected and we're charging. Hold on. Let me get my computer. I will hold you in my hand. But here's the thing. I think when it comes to finding other people in the industry, it's just putting yourself out there. And if you see an event come up with like your favorite creator, like a meet and greet and stuff like that, go to it. Meet the people, meet other people at that event, put your name out there, sign up for different agencies to take a look at your page, all the things. Like, it really is about putting yourself out there and knowing like, oh, I think this person works in this industry at this capacity that I want to. Let me reach out, take them for a coffee. Theracin 7140, you said personal. When are you and Carlos going to get married? I don't know if that's we are both on the same page when it comes to marriage. We can do it. We don't need it, but we also have to get through some things with each other to know if marriage is something that we want overall. We've been together going on 8 years, and that's a long time, girl. And last year was a lot, but for the things that we experienced. But I don't know if I'm the marrying kind, and everyone has a right to have their own perspective on what relationships look like for them. I don't think I'm a traditional girl when it comes to marriage. My parents are married. I have my own thoughts about why they shouldn't have been married. Okay. I have had other great examples for love and marriage, but I don't feel like for me, I have to be married. I feel like I might be that woman that has a really great agreement and understanding. I have a family with this person, but I don't need the legalities in that way. We can have contracts on other things that we split and share and own. But when it comes to legally being married, I don't know if I need that. I feel like I'm more of like we're spiritually married. We're spiritually connected. I know that there's some benefits of that and there's some downside to that as well. I get it. Me and him have to figure that one out. But I don't know if that's something that's not our focus. I feel like our focus as a couple is the strength of our partnership, the love that we have for each other, the experiences that we have with each other. I think that's more so where we're at right now. We both know that we want to be parents together. And we both know that we want to be successful in our careers and share that with each other. So that's where I'm at with that. And two more questions. First of all, I love your videos. Thank you, Kirby Rose, $12.99. I noticed in a few videos you said you thought you heard something or mentioned you were home alone and didn't prefer that. I know you guys are new to this apartment, but wanted to know what or why did you feel like that? Because a very good friend of mine moved back to the Bronx last year and I was going to come stay at his place, but wasn't familiar with the neighborhood. I'm a big nervous Nelly, so I've been hesitant to pull the trigger. Listen, I think the Bronx is cool. Like, I haven't really had much time to experience my neighborhood because we moved here in August. A lot of stuff was going on with Mama Chella, Carlos's mom staying with us, and then boom, winter hit. So like, girl, I'm going to the train and to the destination. I'm not walking around the Bronx. It's very windy up here too. So I still have a lot to learn when it comes to the neighborhood. I don't feel like there's a lot of pockets in my specific neighborhood where I feel like I'm in danger. Sure, there's been some news reports of some stabbings and stuff at the places that I walk past and all. Listen, there's always going to be something in every neighborhood. But when it comes to me being home, yeah, there's been a couple of times where something that was sturdy on the counter fell, and then I didn't feel. I'm scared of stuff like that because listen, you can be a spirit in this space, but don't touch my things and make noise. Don't make me uncomfortable. If you want to tell me something, I'll leave out a pen and a paper for you to let me know what I need to do for you to pass on through. Okay? If you're my relative, you should already, don't do that. Don't scam me. But when it comes to being home sometimes by myself, I'm like, look here, don't be doing that stuff. We lived in an apartment in Brooklyn where after Carlos's friend passed away, some things happened in that apartment. And I was just like, tell your friend to stop touching things. It made me scared, y'all. So listen, I'm clairvoyant, and the other thing too, where I can feel a spirit. I can feel a spirit, and I've had many encounters, especially in New York at work spaces. There's a lot of, oh my God, I had so many, Saks Fifth Avenue, working on Elizabeth and Prince in Soho. I've had so many experiences with spirit, and it's wild to me. But we've had a couple of things in this apartment where I'm just like, who is that? Please don't do that. I'm by myself. I can't hold on to my man if I'm by myself. My man can't figure out where the noise came from if he's not here. Like, I don't want to know. That's why I said that. And the last question is Violet Femme. I like that name. I do. Do you think okay, it's kind of similar question, but let me see. Do you think making New York Fashion Week 1 week a year would be beneficial? Business of Fashion recently reported that New York and London earn the least amount of earned media value compared to Paris or Milan. The article suggested that maybe it would be better for New York to consolidate the 2 fashion weeks into 1 week to maximize the EMV and reduce the cost of small fashion brands that show at New York Fashion Week. I think that might be short-sighted because a lot of emerging designers show at New York Fashion Week that wouldn't get the same amount of attention if they showed in Paris or Milan. Plus, not everybody based in Europe or can afford to show in Europe when they are not based there. What do you think? I agree with you 1,000%. I don't think it makes sense because it's like, also, what collections are they supposed to show in 1 week? Both collections? Like, that would be odd. I don't think that would be fair. And it's like, if the other countries aren't doing 1 week, then why should New York be forced to do 1 week? I don't know. But I did answer this before. I totally agree with you. It's an opportunity for emerging designers to showcase, and the money is not always there, especially with newer brands. Like, they don't have the capital to fly all their stuff and their team to other cities and countries. It's a lot. And then like spending on hotels, it's too much. So I do think that is not beneficial to condense it. I think they should keep it 2 weeks out, 2 different weeks out of the year, and that they need to centralize the locations of where the shows are being shown. Because my feet are still tired from running from this area to the next. And I get it. Like, a lot of designers like to have a certain ambiance and a certain flow of how they showcase their work. But like, girl, we don't need all that. We was doing just fine with the tents. We were doing just fine. Girl, when they changed their team up that oversaw all of New York Fashion Week, like it just went down the drain. Like I really hate that for us. So those are the questions. I hope y'all enjoyed all this time with me and getting to know me. And yeah, I love y'all so much. These were really great questions. I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Not enough time though. And not enough battery either. What the freak? So anyway, I hope y'all are having a good day so far. And drop any more questions that you have below in the comments and I'll get to you in a different video, right? And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye, cookies.